Hey y'all, good afternoon. As always, gonna give everybody a few minutes to hop on. I see I have some notifications, so I'm gonna pull Facebook in a separate tab and make sure everyone who wanted into the group made it into the group. If you're on the replay, take this time to get yourself settled, to bribe your kiddos to leave you alone, to grab your journal, to take some deep breaths, just taking some time to arrive. Hey, Brooke and Kimberly and Janice, how's it going? I would love to hear how everyone's feeling today after the past few days, the past couple days. Hey, Kate. Hey, Shannon. So excited all of you are on live. There's more of you here that it only shows me some people's names for some reason. So if you're here on live, just say hello. Let me know in the comments. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments. Hey, Brooke, thanks for being here. Truly, thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Kimberly. Like, if y'all weren't here, I wouldn't be doing this work. So thank you, thank you. Hey, Kate. How's everybody doing? Today we are talking about orgasmic living, essentially. Being lit from within, pleasure, receiving. It's going to be a good one. Today is my favorite day of all three. I've actually, I did a lot less promotion today than I have in the past two because I spent like 90% of today just soaking in pleasure and embodying the things we're going to be talking about today. And I also wore my favorite lipstick for my favorite day. So I do hear that my phone is over there on, oh, let's see. Sorry, y'all. I'm just making sure that there's nobody wanting to get into the group that can't. And so I'm pulling up Facebook on another tab. And it's giving me all kinds of, craziness and trouble. I see on my post about this, someone had commented that when she asked what she needed, like it was for her kids to camp outside. And so her kids are outside camping today. I freaking love that. That's incredible. And what a gift to her kiddos that they'll have this memory of camping in the backyard during this time. Hey, Lauren. Oh, you're feeling encouraged and Kate is feeling seen. Yes, yes, yes. That makes me so happy. That is why I do this work. My sole desire is to hold space where women feel seen and understood and hopeful and encouraged and inspired, where you feel like things are possible for you again. So amazing. I feel like I'm doing my job. Okay, I'm going to grab my phone and turn it on silent so it doesn't distract me during this. If you haven't grabbed a journal yet, definitely go and do that now. And I will be back in like 10 seconds. Y'all are going to get to see that I have yoga pants on with my fancy gear. Oh, maybe not. I could have gotten away without telling y'all that. Okay. No interruptions now. Perfect. Alrighty. So today I'm excited. We're going to be doing some energy play. We're going to be doing a bit of journaling, and we are, getting real around desire. So by now, it's pretty clear that there is a life that you're living that parts of it you don't want to continue, right? Like, we are well aware that we cannot continue to live feeling overwhelmed. We cannot continue to do life from a place of depletion and exhaustion, of people pleasing, of like strapping on all these limits that the world gave us and we bought as our own. It's definitely time to step out of that. But what happens is once we start choosing to live a different way, it requires letting go of the old way. But we aren't super clear on what we do want. And even if we do know what we want, we feel like we're not allowed to want it, or it's not possible for us to have it. Or we're afraid that, say we do decide to want it, we decide to go for it, and we get it, then we're afraid that there's some backlash coming. It's that we're going to be punished for it, or criticized, or like abandoned by the tribe, or that like just some sort of glaringly obvious thing to everyone but us that wasn't right about it. So I know most of the women I talk to don't trust themselves, and they definitely don't trust what they desire because of massive amounts of conditioning into self-doubt, being conditioned to question yourself and doubt yourself. Like, we're so used to being gaslighted that we constantly question our own sanity, you know, especially since when we start living this different way, it's so drastically different than the old way that there are so many people ready to tell us, like, you're doing this wrong, this isn't safe, like, are you sure you want to be doing that? You know, so much questioning. And what we noticed is that when we get into our bodies and we have someone hold the edges for us, when we start to wobble, when we're walking into this life that we desire and we're starting to take action that feels good and in alignment with where we're headed, and we start to wobble, we want to backslide or backpedal, or we wobble and we like, ugh, that's when you need someone to hold the edge and be like, no, 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 you can trust yourself, keep going. That is what I'm going to be here for, is to help you keep going. Even definitely in camp, but even today. Because today, as we talk about desire, you'll already notice there's less of us here today, which I fully anticipated, because today is about desire. It's not about surviving, right? Today's about receiving. It's about pleasure. It's about feeling good. Like, we can show up for survival. Like, we can show up and do the work if it means we're figuring out how to be more neutral, right? Like, if we're learning how to be like satisfied in our lives, that feels safe-ish, right? That's like the first level. But to show up and like take time and energy and invest it in feeling good, like more than just okay, that's some next level shit. And we don't feel like we are allowed to do that, or as allowed to do that as we are to fix ourselves, right? If it's like, oh, how do I fix my anxiety and my overwhelm? I can show up for this. I can do this work. This feels safe. But when it turns to pleasure work, that is when our like conditioning hits real hard and we're like, well, like, that's luxury stuff, or that's like later stuff, or am I really, like, do I need to be, I'm okay, things are fine enough. Like, that's what comes up when we start looking at moving beyond survival and into thriving. Which, when we got off our call on the very first day, someone had posted that a human cell, like a body cell, can only be in one or two states. It can be in a protection state or a growth state. So this is true not just on like a emotional, energetic, woo-woo level, but your physical body. If it is fighting something off, it is not focused on growing and thriving. And so when you focus on pleasure instead of your old protections, you're growing and thriving. You are inviting your system out of a state of protection and fix me into a state of just homeostasis, where growth and pleasure and good things exist. And so there's a way we can get caught up in these healing loops where we're constantly finding something wrong with us, something wrong with our people, something wrong with our environment. We're constantly fixing. And so, of course, the invitation to stop doing that and to remember that you're whole already and to focus on your pleasure and feeling good and what you do want, of course, that feels terrifying. It's a whole different way of living. So I just want to take a moment to honor you for being here on day 3 of this journey. Like, you are incredible. And you're here not just because like you want something for you. You're here because you care about your family, because you care about your life, because you care. And that's incredible. To show up 3 days in a row for yourself. When's the last time you did that? That you showed up for yourself 3 days in a row. Kimberly says, I love how you call shit out. That's what I'm learning, y'all. Clear is kind, right? Like, I can't offer you any sort of freedom from what you're experiencing right now if I'm going to tiptoe around it. and hope that you read the cues or the between the lines of what I'm saying. Like, I'm willing to say shit that might potentially trigger people, that might hurt people's feelings, or open up old wounding, or make people turn away from me. Like I talked about this yesterday. I'm willing to potentially be unpopular or problematic in some way if it means that I'm offering you truth and clarity, because that's what we need. We don't need a solution. We need clear-sightedness. We need to be able to clearly see what's happening in our lives and clearly see and define what we want and clearly see and define what's getting in the way, what's blocking us from that, what patterns we're clinging to or operating in unconsciously, so that you can have freedom from it and you can choose to step in to that clear vision. And that's one of the great things about this new level of work I'm doing with this somatic meditation, is it's that the path comes from inside of you. I'm not here to tell you what you want or to tell you what to do or what's right for you, what's going to work for you. I don't know that. But I know that you know that. I trust you that you know exactly what you want. I trust that you know what would feel good for you. And I trust that you know exactly what's getting in the way for you. And you know how to move past it. You know what you need so that you can have what you want. And my job is not to fill in any of those blanks for you. My job is to hold the edges where you can find that clarity in your own body. I hold the safe space. I'm the guide of your own inner cave, right? Of your own inner being, where you get to go down and navigate into your depths and hear who you really are and what you really want, and let that speak clearly and loudly to you. And then you decide to commit to that and start taking action towards that in your life. So even if it's like really small or seemingly insignificant, if you drop into meditation and what you need that day is a smoothie, you go make the damn smoothie, even though like you don't feel like it, or you feel whiny and you don't want to make a smoothie, you don't want to wash the blender after. That's a lot of bags of stuff to get out. Like, thinking of all of my reasons when I don't want to make a smoothie when my body asks for one. My body's been asking for smoothies for about a month now and haven't made one yet, because of all these reasons. But you need someone who's going to hold the edges and help you take those actions, right? Because that's the problem. You've tried taking action towards what you want before. I mean, I doubt there's a single person here who has not tried several different ways to create the life that you desire and then felt like you were failing. But it's just because taking that action towards what you want is the exact thing you've been conditioned out of. You've been conditioned out of trusting your inner knowing, trusting the natural impulse of your being, the natural knowing from inside of you, the ease. We have totally committed to making life complicated and hard, and it's not. Life is so much easier and simpler than we've been led to believe, than the programming that we're running makes it. It makes it so complicated, and it's not. And so for me, like, my intention is to hold space today for you to get clear on what you want, to get clear on what's blocking you from it. And then, like, for those of you who do camp or those of you who work with me, I'm there to hold the edge for you so that you can take that action, so that you can practice being that person. Because it really is. It's about who you're being every day. It's not about fixing yourself or coming up with some master plan. The things that are going to change your life are very simple. It's daily meditation. It's daily journaling. And it's working in your body to free yourself from your own limits and trauma and patterns with the body and the breath, and occasionally deep diving into energy space, which is still very body based. It's not anything sexy or complicated or like seductive, right? There's nothing like super thrilling about that. But the daily movement, daily meditation, eating what your body desires, like, these are things that you've been wanting for yourself, but aren't able to implement on a regular basis because of your conditioning, not because you suck, not because you're doing something wrong, not because what you want is bad, just because you are a threat to the way the world is right now when you are in your wholeness and when you remember that you know. You know what you want. You know what's real. You know what's right. You know what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. You know where your boundaries and limits are. When you are empowered in yourself, you become a threat to the whole entire old way of being. So I just want to take a minute to tell you, like, I've been on the phone with so many people in the past 4 years who feel, and myself included, who feel like they're not getting what they want because they suck in some way or they're not doing it right. And so before we dive into anything about pleasure or receiving or dreaming, wanting stuff, I just want to tell you right now, it is safe for you to want what you want. Yes, the world may push back hard once you start taking action towards it. But that just is your challenge. It's the work. It's the practice. It's the meeting the obstacles and keeping the faith that you can have what you want. And using what came from your body as your solid ground, as your anchor. So that when you start to wobble, you're not relying on some flimsy plan that your mind created for you. You're not relying on some external, well, they said I should do this. You're not relying on that external, I should be a thing. In those moments when you're wobbling, and so I'll give you an example in a second, but when you're wobbling and what you need to hold on to is something so much more solid. And when you have that internal experience, when you know the desire or the plan or the whatever came from inside of you, because when you tap into that and you receive guidance from that part of you, it is solid. There is gravity to it and safety, and you just know it. You can feel it literally in your bones that this is good and safe and meant for me. And that is what you're going to hold on to when you start to lose your balance, when you try to create the thing and you're struggling, because you're supposed to struggle. Like when I moved into this apartment, I could barely make it up the flights of stairs to the 3rd floor. It was so hard. And now I'm running up them and I enjoy it. And it's been a month. But it's practice. I had to keep doing it and choose not to focus on why did I move to the 3rd floor where I have to walk my dog 7 times a day. Why did I do this? If I'd stayed on that rabbit hole, I would have gone into regret, fear, and with all of this pandemic shit on top of that, I would be like, why did I move? This was such a mistake, blah, blah, blah. But I remembered I moved to this house because I'm desiring a more active life. I want to be around people again. I want to feel like I'm more in physical community. I felt a little isolated in my old house. Like, whatever, walking the stairs every day, several times a day with my dogs was part of the deal. Like, that was part of what I desired. And so anytime I was struggling to make it up the steps, I'm like, I was born for this. I was made for this. This is what I'm doing. Like, this is what I wanted. I'm becoming the person who can live on the 3rd floor easily. And so every time you're working through these challenges, it's important that you have something solid to come back to. Had that vision of me going up and down these stairs not come from a really solid place, I would be resentful. I would not be able to stick with it. Like, it would be really fucking hard. And I'd probably be having knee and hip pain right now. My dogs would probably be dealing with like arthritis or some shit. But instead, we're all getting stronger and we're all getting more alive, which is exactly what I desired. And I have that solid place to hold on to. And so like last night, I had a really long day. My days start at 5 a.m. and they end around 9. And Gus went to his dad's after our call, our workshop. And there was this part of me that was just like, wanted to check out because I'd experienced so much goodness in the past like month that I feel like it's almost too much. And so that old desire to check out, and I used to call this self-sabotage, but it's not about sabotaging. It's about feeling unworthy of the level of fucking amazing shit that is happening in my life right now. And feeling like I need to collapse into, I'm too tired and I need to zone out, which wasn't true. I wasn't tired. I was fueled by my day. I laid on the floor in the sun with my door open and just like relished in it. I wasn't tired. And so when I started thinking about sitting on the couch and eating pie, like, yes, sometimes that feels like amazing self-care and I am down for it, but it didn't feel right in my body. What I really wanted to do last night was like dance party, have a slow dance party actually with myself, do my self-pleasure practices, meditate, go to bed early so I could wake up because I had another article due today for Lafayette Mom. And I knew I needed to be up at 5 to do that and my practices and preparing for today before I went to get Gus at 8. So that was what I really wanted. And my house was a disaster. But I didn't want to clean my house because that felt ugh. And so I just noticed myself stuck in that wobble, that push pull, and feeling like I don't even know what I want, which is bullshit. When we're like, I don't know what I want, no, that's a clear sign that we know exactly what we want, but some part of us is resisting or afraid or doesn't feel like she has space or permission. So I just breathed and I was like, okay, I can put on some music and just start doing the dishes until I decide what I want to do. So I did that and like I realized I'm like, oh my God, like I love that I'm doing this. I love that I'm doing my dishes and choosing, like, I want to go do my jade egg practices after this. I don't want to go sit on the couch and numb out. Life is incredible right now. And I want to keep experiencing that. And so it didn't come from a place of I should do my jade egg practices because that's what I was going to do and I'm supposed to do. And I feel like now I have to do it because I said I wanted it, you know? And it wasn't, well, let me just go collapse on the couch because I can't decide. So I'm just going to give up. It came from just being in my body, not forcing myself into anything. And then what I really wanted had space to come forward. So there's a way that we're sitting here feeling like we have to figure out what we want and it's so stressful. And it's like, no, no, it's not hard. We need space to breathe. We just need some space to breathe and exist and let all of the fucking pressure go. Let all of the shoulds, let all of the feelings of I'm not allowed to have what I want, all the drama and the stories, just take some space from that for a minute, you know? Y'all can come back later if you want, but I'm just going to take this space to breathe. And when you're present with yourself and you're not judging yourself and you're not fixing yourself and you have no agenda and you're just sitting and being with you and you're curious, your desire will bubble up from inside of you. And so this morning when I woke up to my clean house, oh my God, it felt so good. I felt so loved and cared for. And part of my grumpiness last night was that I was like, oh my God, like really desiring to have a partner. I was like really kind of pouting about having no one to share all of this amazingness with. And so I went into this place of scarcity and lack of like, I can't feel what I want to feel right now because I don't have X, Y, or Z. And the truth was, okay, well, what would I be doing if I had this partner here? If I had what I feel like I need to feel good, what would I be doing right now? And the answer was like probably cleaning my kitchen, like listening to some music. Like it would just be normal. I wouldn't be doing anything super high pressure or super crazy. And so, yeah, when I woke up, like I was like, I have my partner. I have me. Like I am taking incredible care of me. I'm making decisions that support the things that I want long term, the real things that I want. Like, yes, the part of me that was sort of panicking and feeling unworthy of everything good that's happening right now wanted to zone out and check out with TV and sweets. And sometimes that feels fine. But that wasn't what I really wanted. When I really want to watch some Netflix, I can sit down and watch a whole series in one sitting, and it's incredible. And I love doing that. But only when that's what I really want, not what I want for that moment. You know what I mean? There's a difference between what we really want and choosing that over and over again versus letting ourselves just be swayed into the things we want that are actually protecting us and not serving us. And so, yeah, I was really glad when I woke up this morning. And last night I had chosen to do what I really wanted and to take action that supported those deeper desires rather than taking impulsive action or what's the word I'm looking for? reactive action, really, more than anything, instead of just checking out and not choosing something. So today we are here to tap into those deeper desires so that they can be your anchor when it's those little decisions, when you start to wobble or you start to feel like you don't know what you want anymore, and maybe I should try something else, or maybe I should look into this other thing because I'm not feeling good about this anymore. Like, no, you just tap back into that original desire. You give yourself some space to think about, like to breathe and feel into like what might support this bigger desire, what might feel good right now. And you do that, not necessarily because it feels like the easy thing to do, but because you've got you, because you love yourself, because you know you're worthy of what you want, and you're willing to take this massive risk and go out on a limb for yourself and do the things that support you being and experiencing who you want to be and what you want to experience. It's a whole new way of living. And this is what allows you to be lit from within. This is what allows you to live life in a way that feels purposeful. Even if you don't have to be doing this kind of work, you don't have to be necessarily in a purposeful career to feel like you're making an impact in the world. When your light is on and you are turned on by your life and by the way you treat yourself and just by the way you live, you bring a whole different energy to the world. Last night I was like, does laying on the couch and eating ice cream turn me on? No. Sometimes, yeah. Does taking care of my home and myself so that tomorrow I can wake up to a clean house turn me on? Actually, yeah. Yeah, I like being that person. Does doing my pleasure practices tonight turn me on? Yeah. And so that's the other thing. It's like this willingness we talked about yesterday about having the responsibility, the self-responsibility for your own happiness. It's the same thing for your pleasure and your joy and your satisfaction in life. You have to take your pleasure into your own hands. You have to know what feels good for you, what feels nourishing, what feels supportive, what feels exciting, what turns you on. And then you can sort of inform the world. And actually, when you're doing things that feed that, your aura, your energy is informing the world. This is what I like. This is what I want. This is what I need. I had a client sign up for camp today, and we had talked about it a couple months ago when the investment was like the early bird price, and she'd already sort of locked it in at that rate. So I was going to honor that rate, which is less than half of what it is now. And she was excited, but then she got off the phone and she called me back and she's like, no, I want to pay the full rate, because paying the lower rate feels like a discount. And I don't want this to feel like a discount. I don't want a discounted investment in myself. I was terrified about asking my husband for the full price, but it feels like an easy out to not have to do that. Like, part of her was excited. It took a lot of guts and courage for her to decide, I'm going to ask for this money and I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to fucking trust myself. She was thrilled. Part of her that was happy, such a big leap. And then she got in, and then I, of course, loved the full rate, And so in my mind, I had already known we had locked in that rate. I wasn't a thing in my body. I was like, it would be nice to make up that money somewhere else, like to have that come in some other way. And then literally I go to walk my dogs and I'm breathing and I'm being with nature and I'm just like feeling so excited about life. And I come upstairs and she calls me and she's like, I'm paying your full rate. Because I was so clear in my body that I desired that extra money for my life, It's good to be able to eat and pay bills. That's exciting. Being able to buy clothes when my kids' clothes don't fit anymore, like to be able to fund my life. And I was just in that space and my energy was informing the world of what I wanted. And I got exactly what I wanted. And she got exactly what she wanted. I noticed when we got off the phone, like there was that initial like, yes, this is going to be easier than I thought. And then it's like the energy collapsed and I knew something didn't feel right, but I trusted. I was like, whatever. I just trust that I'm trusting life in this process. And yeah, we both got what we wanted. Now she's thrilled. There's a word an old friend of mine used to use, scare-sighted. When you're equally terrified and excited about a thing. Like that is the sweet spot. Because it's like standing at the top of the slide when you're a kid and you're like, this is so scary, but it's so fun because it's scary. If it was like the baby slide, you're like, oh, I'm going down the baby slide, no big deal. And so this is what it's like to follow your real desires. It's scary as hell. It may be camp for you. It may not be. It may be some other thing you've been putting off wanting. But whatever that other thing you've been putting off wanting, camp will help you implement it. If that thing you've been wanting is to start working out, camp will help you implement it. Help you practice being that person. Camp is you going up and down the stairs 5 times a day for 3 months till you become the person who has no trouble going down the stairs and enjoys it and feels alive by it, by the things that felt impossible or hard. So yeah, I will take a moment to just breathe, because my system can get really on fire about the topic of pleasure and desire. So yeah, circling back, your system will inform the world of what you want. And you're super clear on it, so you can start asking for it. Like before, she felt terrified about asking her partner for this money to do camp. But then when she realized, like, actually, I want to make this big of an investment, now asking her husband for it, she's coming from a place of clarity and worthiness and knowing, like, actually, this is a good thing. This feels right in my system, and my brain can't explain why on earth I would call you and, like, pay you more money, why I would offer to do double, but I just don't want to be a discounted investment in myself. It doesn't feel the same. I don't feel excited about showing up anymore. She's like, at the full rate, I feel excited. Like, I'm going to show up and, like, create the change. I am doing this shit because I am fully in. And that's where we want to be with our desires. I'm doing this scary shit because I am in. And when it's coming from inside of you and it's so clear, you have the courage to take those scary steps towards whatever it is that you're desiring. And you can ask for it more clearly. And so there's a way, I know so many women who, like, it's so common to not enjoy sex, right? To not enjoy intimate pleasure. If that's you, let me know. And it's easy to go into overwhelm. Like, oh, I'm just too overwhelmed. I'm too tired. I don't have any energy left at the end of the day to connect. And really, it's like, that's that old protection, right? We're too tired so that we don't have to connect, because it keeps us out of our joy and our pleasure. And so there's a way that we're not enjoying it, but we're not necessarily willing to say, like, I don't feel safe, or I'm not enjoying this, or, you know, get clear on, like, okay, well, if not this, then what? If you don't enjoy this, then what do you enjoy? And you can't know what it is you enjoy unless you're experimenting and practicing and figuring out, like, what do I like? And so when it comes, I'm using the metaphor of sexuality because it's so obvious and clear. Because on your own, if you're touching your own body and figuring out how it feels to be with yourself and what you like and what you don't like, then you can communicate that with your partner and he can give you what you want and y'all can connect. But we're so afraid, again, it comes back to all of that, feeling unworthy of what we want, feeling like we're not allowed to ask for what we want. So it's so much easier to just stay super foggy about what we want and unclear and stressed. I'm too stressed to even stop and think about what I might want in my life. Can you see how that's easier than having to face all of the fear and trauma and limits that come up around asking for what you want, around having to feel worthy of what you want? It's so much easier to just be stressed and overwhelmed. So if you're ready to drop in and figure out what you do want, we're going to do some energy play. So I will invite you to just take a few breaths. We'll land back on the ground, feet flat on the ground, feeling the weight of your pelvis, maybe smiling with the collarbones. Lengthening through the back of the spine, gently tucking the chin and closing the eyes. Just finding that balance of effort and ease in your body. Waving hello to the part of you that, doesn't know if it's okay to want what she wants. Just saying, I see you, you're welcome here, I love you. And I would really like to know what I actually want. I would really love to know what might make me happy, what me being happy looks like. And just breathing into that. And yeah, noticing the part of you that is like really afraid of what might happen if you have what you want. Who might you lose? Who might you not fit in with anymore? What old safety blankets and protection patterns would you have to shed? What's at risk when you step into what you really want? And then shifting into what does it feel like in your body to not have what you want and to have what you're experiencing now, to have that continue. And just see which one feels worse, which cost is higher. The things or people or patterns that you will outgrow, or staying the same. Things not changing, continuing to feel this way. And then you can come back to neutral. Let's get you out of that space. So just coming back to your body now, breathing, smiling with the collarbones, becoming aware of your spine, your sacrum, your hip bones, your belly, your womb, your ovaries, your tailbone, your pelvic floor, perineum, your bottom, the foundation of your being, of your seat, your vulva, your vaginal canal, your cervix. If you don't feel these places or, know exactly where they are, just tuning into the energy of them, the feeling of them. And then sitting up above that, towards the heart, is your fire, your solar plexus. Your power. And then right above that is the heart. And above that is the place where you express yourself, your self-expression, your truth, your throat. Above that is your intuition, your third eye, the part of you that can look inside of you and know. what you need, what you want, how to get there. And above that, the crown, the seat of light, where you can connect with divine love, peace, safety. And below all of this, your roots, your connection to the earth. And all of these parts operating as a whole, creating your aura, the bubble of light around your body. And when your pleasure is shut down, when your desire and your ability to take action towards what you desire is shut down, which it is for most of us until we do the work to wake it back up. When that's shut down, what happens to the heart? What happens to the throat? What happens to the roots? You'll notice probably that the heart sinks, is totally unsupported. The throat closes up, the roots lift up, shrivel, and the third eye is left in a frenzy, searching for safety, scanning the environment for what is going to bring safety. What's going to bring safety is turning that support back on. Dropping the roots back into the earth. Awakening your desire. Taking action that is in alignment with your desire, rather than in alignment with your protection. So taking your energetic system out of protection and into growth, into thriving. That's the difference. The first state was thriving. Homeostasis. It's how you're designed to feel. It's what your birthright energy is. It's who you naturally are. And the second one, with everything shutting down and pulling in, is your body in protection. So I'll invite you to just open your eyes and take a few minutes to journal about that. About your experience of protection versus thriving. And how it feels to not have what you need. And to realize that what you need is you. Is a strong internal structure. It's not the external things that you may have thought you needed or wanted. What we really desire is safety. What we really desire is wholeness, is to shine and to be ourselves, to live fully expressed in the world, to stop fixing ourselves, and to just participate in life, to just be able to be alive and present with our people and happy. We just want to be happy and enjoy our lives and our families. And that feels radical for so many moms, so many humans. And you don't have to fix yourself to do that. It's about coming home and strengthening you, who you already are. Taking all that energy that's been going into everything else, all these other ways of trying to find safety, and creating it here in the body, remembering it, not even creating it. It's already here. It exists. You just experienced it. You just went into thriving. You just tried that energy on. It's already here. You don't need to be fixed. You just need practice being in that energy more often. And the more you're in that energy, the safer it becomes, the more life opens up, the more you open up, and it's a gradual process. Like, you will see some things shift radically very quickly. You'll get those quick ahas or those quick moments of safety or things you want just coming in. You'll have that. You'll have the, oh fuck, what am I doing? Why did I decide to trust myself? Like, this is so scary and hard. And then you'll come back into this space of knowing and remembering and unraveling gently. in a way that's supportive and sustainable. That's my goal here, is sustainable shift, sustainable opening. Because yeah, we can go read a book and crack open our old protections, right, or our old beliefs, and open really big and dramatic, and then we're going to contract just as hard. But then we make ourselves wrong for the contraction. But contraction is normal. The point is to stop, to wiggle and waver between the extremes until we can come into balance within ourselves. We're not going to stay in balance, but we learn the way home. We learn how to come home to us so that we waver less, we wobble less, we want to backpedal less. Or when we do find ourselves wavering and backpedaling and I don't know, this life starts to get bigger than us again. We're practiced in coming back to yourself. And the more you can do that, the more you can enjoy your life and have the things you want. Because you likely realize the things you want are not that crazy. The things you want are practical. I get why you want that. Who wouldn't? And so, yeah, I feel like we'll just take a few moments with that. And yeah, what is the cost of continuing to live without that internal structure that you need? It's like underlying terror in your days. It's anxiety. I feel it. I feel it, like my system mirroring it. It's contracted self-expression, constantly scanning who you need to be. It's perfectionism. It's people pleasing. It's mask wearing. It's all the things we've been talking about. And the solution, I put solution in quotes because it's not really a solution in the way that we use the word typically. But the solution is just dropping back into your body, coming home to yourself, and being lit up from within. And when you're doing this and the stuff you want comes to you and all of your unworthiness pops up, you drop back into that place, and the new work becomes allowing yourself to receive what you want. So first, we have to allow ourselves to want what we want, and then the work is allowing ourselves to receive what we want. Because when you let yourself want what you want, and you take action towards that in a way that is aligned with that, you're gonna get what you want. And then your work becomes, how do I receive this? And you practice receiving it. Okay, I'm gonna be uncomfortable and I'm gonna try this on. Sorry, my kid just came in. So I would love to hear from you. What came up for you guys? What are you wanting? What does it feel like to not have it? What does it feel like in your body to not have that inner support? What did you notice? I'm just going to drop in for a sec and see if there's anything else coming forward. Because I show up here with a plan and then, open up to whatever wants to move through, whatever will be most helpful. Thanks, bud. And do you have any questions? Is there anything that you feel like you need support with? I feel like some of your systems may be in that contracted state. The energy does feel a little off. It's sort of activated, right? As things unravel, it's like it can trigger and stir up a lot of stuff. Yep, feel that. So if you're feeling that, coming back to the breath, letting it be okay. Yeah, let's do some meditation with the part of you that doesn't feel worthy or safe. You need to get out.
Happen to the TV.
Okay, find something else to do. Close the door. Close the door. So taking a few deep breaths with that. You need to get out right now. And meeting the part of you, you don't need to get out, my kid needs to get out. But meeting the part of you that feels triggered, that is up, that is having an experience or a reaction to this. Yeah, and I'll read what Lauren shared. She says, denying my true wants and doing what feels safe externally causes my roots to wither and my light to fade. But if my light can shine, I will feel beauty. And that is the truest statement I've ever heard. And so whatever you realized about being whole, can you turn towards the part of you that doesn't feel worthy of it and tell her exactly that? I see that you're scared. I see that you have been super trained not to go after what you want, not to be who you are. I know I'm asking you to do everything you've decided is unsafe to do in the world. God, I understand why you're scared. Yeah, remember that time when you were so happy as a kid and dad yelled, scared you? Remember when you did that cool project that you were so excited about showing your parents and then you got fussed at for making a mess? I get it. You're so afraid that if you trust yourself and your natural impulse to create something amazing or cool or fun or just enjoyable, I totally understand why you're afraid of like the consequences of doing that, because life has shown you over and over that it's not safe or good or allowed. And I want to show you what's happening to us, like you and this little one, when we don't have play, when we don't have creativity, when we don't have light and pleasure, when we don't feel good. And it's still, we don't feel safe. So choosing safety over play, safety over joy, safety over true happiness isn't actually working. So can we try something else? Look at what happens when we do this other thing. Like, look at how much safer the heart really is with the womb space lit up and the solar plexus strong and the roots deep and the throat open and the third eye resting until it's needed and the crown open, receiving light and love and blessings. And like, yeah, we may have to do some really scary things, some new things, some impossible feeling things to have this experience in real life. But man, I want it. And I'm gonna do what it takes. Because I want it for me and I want it for you. And sort of stepping into the driver's seat. The more mature mother energy. Most of us are operating unconsciously from our inner child. So sort of letting the inner child know, I love you, I see you, I'm here to take care of you, and hop in the back seat, my love, like that's where you belong. Let me take you somewhere fun, somewhere good. Let me take you where you want to go. But I'm going to drive. I'm the adult. And you might notice that that part of you feels fucking relieved to not have to be doing the adulting anymore. And you might feel scared as the adult. You might feel empowered. You might feel both. And so let's find a source of safety and support for you as the adult. Inviting in support from the earth to move up through your feet into your body. Pulsating up through your feet, your ankles, your legs, your thighs, your hips, your pelvis, your vulva, your pelvic floor, your perineum, your anus, your tailbone, letting these parts of you that may exist only in the shadow with lots of shame, letting them receive this love and support and nourishment. The vaginal canal, your cervix, which holds the lineage of your maternal line, like in your actual body. The DNA that comes from your maternal line is energetically linked to your cervix. This is where you hold everything every woman in your whole family history has been through. And so can you allow the earth to nourish this part of you as you commit to ending generations of trauma, to healing generations of trauma, to stepping out of generations of protection and control and just the old way. Inviting healing into the part of you that is holding all that trauma, all that patterning. And then inviting that energy up into the womb, the ovaries, the lower belly, your sacrum, your spine, the solar plexus, which is just below the breastbone, up high in the belly. And letting that energy finally make its way up into the heart. And if you encounter any blocks or parts where the energy doesn't move, you can just let it flow around that spot. We're not forcing anything to receive. So if your womb or your cervix or your vaginal canal was like, nope, totally fine. You can let it flow around these spaces. You're not here to force any part of your being to open. But can you find an opening somewhere to let it nourish the other parts of you that are a yes, that are available for that support, for that Mother Earth to hold you and mother you as you mother your own inner child, as you mother and tend your desires and your life. And letting that energy sort of hang out up through the heart, then inviting energy down through the crown, this light, like a breeze from the sky, the cosmos, the divine, from God or Goddess or Spirit, the universe, whatever your word is, just inviting that source energy to come in and lighten things up, letting it move through your head, your brain, your third eye, your forehead, the skull, your scalp, the space between your ears and behind your eyeballs, your nose, your cheeks, your lips and tongue, your throat, your cervical spine, shoulders, the pit of your throat, your breastbone, letting it pour down into your heart where it meets this earth energy. And your heart is in your chest, but it's also the back of the heart, so the space in your upper back between the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the armpits, all of your lymph nodes, your breasts, your nipples, your arms, wrists, fingers, and hands. And just letting these energies spread, mixing together and then spreading through your whole body, supporting you, your light. So they're not necessarily filling you up like you're some empty space, but they're reawakening your energy, your vibration. Just inviting that to take up more space in your body and in the area just beyond your body, your aura, your energetic bubble. And noticing that there are no tears or leaks, that you have this nice, contained, supportive bubble of energy that is just for you. And noticing how containing it in this way allows you to stay bright so that your light can shine further. And so people who move in close to you can feel your warmth, but you're not losing your energy in the process. You're not giving them your warmth. You're just being light, and light is warm. And so just noticing how you can be whole and still support people, still be a source of nourishment. And in fact, you become a better source of nourishment when you're tapped into this space, when you are deeply nourished and whole. And so taking some more breaths here, just breathing it in, letting every cell in your body soak it up, memorizing what it feels like to be you, to be supported and held and loved and perfect without anything needing to change or be fixed. And can you let your soul remember who you are, what you want, what you in your most authentic expression is like? I'll invite you to imagine a scene from your day of this ideal life, of this life that you desire, where you are being yourself, fully and naturally expressed, with ease, where things are simple and not so complicated anymore, where you're allowed to just be you, where you can just be happy with your partner, your children, at work, wherever. It like makes me giggle. It's like, yes, you have permission to just be happy. I can see that like really light, innocent, pure part of your spirit is like, hee hee, I get to just be happy. You know, it feels incredible when you finally have that permission. And so noticing with all of your senses what this life where you get to be happy is like. What do you see around you? What do you see yourself doing? What do you see in your environment, in your home? There's no right answer, and it doesn't have to make sense, and it doesn't need to be complicated. But just witnessing this life, viewing it with your own eyeballs. And what do you feel and touch? Is it your clothing, the grass, your yoga mat, a warm mug of coffee or tea, cozy blankets? Is it your own skin or hair? Is it your partner's skin? What do you feel in your body in this life where things are easy, where you're just being happy? What does it feel like in your body? What emotions do you experience? What do you smell in your environment? Maybe it's a botanical perfume, flowers, coffee in the morning. Do you smell home cooked food? Are you cooking? Is someone else cooking for you? Like, what do you smell? Maybe you're sitting outside and your partner is grilling. You can smell the grill. What do you smell? Maybe you smell your clean house or your laundry. And what do you taste? Do you taste a delicious drink, some yummy food, clear, cleansing water, your partner's skin, your partner's lips? What do you taste in this life where there's room for you, where you get to be happy? And what do you hear around you? Is it quiet? Do you hear your children laughing? Do you hear yourself laughing? Do you hear yourself talking with friends or having an intimate conversation with your partner, like really hearing and understanding each other, like having that heart to heart? Do you hear words of affirmation from your friends or family or partner, from yourself? Do you hear music? And then letting all of these things come online in your body, letting yourself fully experience this life. It may be wildly more simple than you ever thought your deepest desire would be. And just letting yourself have it here and now. And what do you need to know or have or understand as true for you to be able to have this life? Is it that you need to know it's even possible? You need to trust that it's possible? Do you need to trust that you're worthy of it? Do you need to know that you would still belong, that you would have safety still? And so sort of adding that to your desire. You desire to know that it is safe, or you desire to know that you are worthy of having this life that you want. So not only now do you desire the thing, but you desire the thing that you need to feel like you can have the thing. It's like adding layers of desire, getting you closer to having it. And what would be supportive? What is one action you can take in direction of this? What would support you in real life having this feeling, this experience now? I'm going to catch up in the comments. Yes, it's about adding sweetness. It's about having sweetness. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving and being radiant and whole and lit from within so that you can be who you were meant to be in the world. We need more mothers holding this vibration. It is a rare vibration. It is not common, not something that most people are experiencing. I don't know how quickly more people will start to experience this, but I know that the more of us that embody it, the more of us that are brave enough to step into who we really are and to be lit from within. It's so badass to do that. I never would have thought I could be someone that like I would describe myself as badass, but I'm realizing like being willing to be soft and light and powerful is so badass. So if you're even considering it, fucking amazing. I want to honor you. Good for you. Like that is badass. That is rare. It is a rare woman who even makes it into this group, that makes it onto these calls, that makes it through all three of these calls, that shows up in this way. It's incredible. Not everyone is doing this. Most people are not doing this. And so you are already changing the world by being willing to step out on each of these little limbs and try something new out and try on different energies and consider possibilities. You wouldn't be here right now if you didn't think it was possible for you to live radiantly, to be a radiant mother. You signed up for the goddamn radiant motherhood breakthrough. So some part of you believes it's possible for you to break through the shit you've been experiencing and experience something different. You believe you're worthy of it. You wouldn't have signed up. You wouldn't have shown up to the calls. You know, the women who signed up and weren't able to make it to the calls, it's their own worthiness. It's the conditioning got to them, you know, and it's fine. That's not a bad thing. Just signing up is activating something in you. Just showing up to one call activates something in you. Like, it's not bad if you're not in a place where you're ready to say, fuck yes, I'm all in on this. Just being here is enough. Every little step you take towards yourself is worth celebrating. Even if you think it's not that big of a deal, it is a massive deal. And I'm just fucking honored and humbled that you're here, that you're doing this work, that you exist. I am so happy that you exist. I'm happy for your kids. I'm happy for your partner. I'm happy for the people in your life that you are doing this work for you. And you're incredible. And I'm not even going to say, I hope you know that, like, no, look at me. Do not shy away from this truth or back away from this truth. You are fucking incredible. And you care deeply about yourself and your world. I know that's true because you would not be here if you didn't. So thank you. Thank you from the deepest parts of my being, not even from my heart, like from my tips of my roots. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking this journey with me. And if you're ready to go all in, if you are a fuck yes, I am ready to take this scary, exciting leap to finally start experiencing a different way of being. To have what we tried on in our systems every day. Like, y'all, I walk around with that in my system as I walk my dogs or do my dishes. Like, obviously, I'm not in that all day long. But because I've committed to that, as soon as I felt that 12 years ago in my first time doing yoga in my college townhouse, I knew I want more of that and I'm gonna make it happen. And it happens in waves. You know, I didn't just go all in and like, I mean, here I am 12 years later, finally fully embodying it most of the time. But it's that knowing once you experience it of like, oh, I'm all in. I'm all in on creating more than my life. And so if that is you, I am all in on helping you get there. Like, I will show the fuck up for you. I promise. I will hold the edges when you feel weak, when you want to backpedal, when you don't know if you can trust yourself. Guess what? I trust you. And I will help you trust you. I will hold the space for you to drop in. And like, yeah, I can't do the practices for you. I can't do the work for you. But I can hold a really strong, powerful space for you. And if you show up and choose to participate in that space every day, even if it's not every day, like, you're going to fall off the wagon. It's about, are you going to get back in? Are you going to show back up? And I'm going to be there encouraging you and inviting you back in. I'm not going to let you just fall off and be like, oh, there she goes. Bye. I guess she's not coming anymore. Which is something I had to do in old group classes because I was working for peanuts and I had no energy. I couldn't fully be there for people because I wasn't, I had to focus on how are we going to eat this week, you know? So know that when you are investing in this, you are investing in yourself. You are investing in what you believe is possible. You are taking a massive, like, fuck, I deserve something good and I believe something good is possible for me. And you're investing in, like, me being there fully. You are investing in all of my tools, all of my knowledge, everything that I have learned and read and, like, practiced and embodied so that I can give you whatever you need. And I can hold the space for you to tap into yourself. Like, you are investing in a 3-month container that will radically change your life. A quarter of your year practicing doing life in a new way. And if you think that's not powerful, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you. It is the most powerful thing. And for the longest time, I was so focused on making my work affordable. I wanted everyone to be able to have this. And I realized working for peanuts, people weren't getting the results they wanted. They weren't lasting. You know, they would have the results and then they'd backpedal right back into the thing. Not necessarily all the way, but they weren't getting the results I wanted them to have sustainably long term. And I was tired all the time. I had a really hard time showing up all the time. And what I've realized is that this work isn't meant to be affordable. Investing in your healing should be the biggest investment of your life. And this still isn't. This isn't that big of the investment. Don't let that scare you. This is not like a home or a car or, you know, any of that. But I realized one day, and it's funny because I opened my journal accidentally today to the exact journal page where I was like, I'm done trying to make my work affordable because this shouldn't be affordable. This shouldn't be an easy yes. This should be a powerful yes. This should be a scary yes. This should be I'm having to stretch way outside of my comfort zone to experience something that I don't necessarily believe is possible for me yet, but she does. And it's been possible for her. It worked for her. And she thinks it can happen for me. And I felt in my body that I'm capable of feeling how I want to feel. So I'm going to just take the leap and do it. It shouldn't be easy, which is why the other woman who said yes to camp called me back and said, I'm not taking your discount. Like, are you kidding me, y'all? Because she knew this is not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to feel like a guaranteed done deal. Don't have to feel stressed or worried about, like, this is supposed to stretch me. I'm supposed to be fully betting on what I believe is possible. And I promise when you approach life in that way, you figure it out. Life shows up to support you. The universe loves commitment. Once you decide you're all in, magic starts to happen, like, immediately. So if that's you, let's hop on a clarity call. We have until Friday to book it. So you can book it, like, through Friday. So, like, that'll give everyone some time to catch the replays. So yeah, I will be accepting clarity calls about camp through Friday. Let's talk about what you want. Let's talk about what came up for you today and get super clear on how, like, we can support your growth so that you can get out of protection mode and into thriving and growing mode. That is what I deeply, deeply desire for you. Thank you again for being here. This has been incredible. I've really enjoyed holding this space, and I'm looking forward to, continuing to do things like this more this year. Sending y'all so much love.